Welcome to Jaron Lukas Live. This is a live stream show where we talk about a bunch of cool topics. We have an especially interesting guest today, my girlfriend, Ana Padilla. Insert cheers around here. And we are going to be asking the question, can Reiki keep you from getting sick? We're going to answer that and a lot more. If you haven't heard of Reiki before, we're also going to have some stuff for you that'll teach you a lot today. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining this live stream. All right. Thank you for coming here with us today. And this is indeed a live stream show. So if you're watching live, make sure you just shoot us a comment. Let us know if you have any questions. And if you're not watching live, you're catching the replay, make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications button so that you're instantly notified when we go live. I'm going live on this channel every Monday through Thursday now. And definitely want to get you involved in chatting with me live anytime you want. So moving along, Ana, my first question for you is, what is the biggest misconception people have about Reiki?
Well, hi. I think Reiki is something a lot of people will say that is related or the same as a massage, which in a way I think it is related, but it's not the only thing it does. Because certainly Reiki can produce this effect of relaxation, can relieve you out of the stress. But it's not only that. I don't know where you want me to start or like what else can lead you to this, but
let's start with the basics.
With the basics, okay. Reiki, I don't know if a lot of people here knows, but Reiki is a technique of working with energy, and the tools basically is the person who is doing the Reiki, like the hands. And I mean, it requires a lot of meditation behind and preparation to it. But basically, Reiki is curing with your hands. It's confused to be, as I said, a massage technique of like a spa-related like service, right? But I don't know, it's just like too much information right now. But basically what you can do is, as I was explaining to you earlier, you can do Reiki to people on different levels of their like body, like physically, or up to their aura. So basically touching, you can go through all the different energetic levels. And that's why, and this is where I want to say it's a little bit like a massage, because I will say it massages your energy. So basically you will have knots with in your energy, that these knots are blocking certain things that are causing you a headache or that are about to cause you a sickness. You know, so this is very related to the topic that you're mentioning right now. Can Reiki actually prevent for having for being sick? And I think it can. It can not only prevent, but it can also treat sickness. Right now, it's actually...
You know, I have a question here, actually. What are some of the most common issues that you find happening in people when you do Reiki on them?
And again, I think relaxing is the main one. Being relaxed after, of course, like an hour of just being laying down and your energy being like touched and like getting back together and like getting good. But I think what's very interesting to me is when I do, because you can do Reiki by distance. When I do Reiki to someone that is not with me in the room, I get to feel what is like wrong with them. I get to feel it in my body. So I think like the craziest thing that I felt is someone's like left. I was feeling a pain in here in my jaw, and I was like, this is wrong, you know, because I was just starting. I didn't have, well, I'm still, I will say just starting, but I didn't have much experience with doing Reiki by distance. So I was like, it's so weird because normally I will feel like the stress of the people in my head or in my chest. And this time I was feeling my jaw, and I was like, what can possibly go wrong with someone's jaw? Like, why? So I was like very, very ashamed of like telling this person later that when I see him, I was like, you know what? I feel something really weird. And like, like I was like even skeptical of my own work. I was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I feel some weird pain in my jaw. And he goes like, oh yeah, I have a broken tooth. And I'm like, okay, this is amazing. Because even a broken tooth, I was able to make him feel better. He told me he wasn't feeling that pain like after a few days, which was like the days that I applied Reiki on him.
Yeah, very interesting. And I remember you telling me that story when it happened, and that's just pretty much unheard of. And these things happen in Reiki all the time, actually. So it's pretty amazing how often people are actually discovering these issues inside of other people.
Yeah, and I also want to add, like, I know very like. I think it's also like, even though people is like, oh, it's a massage, and have no idea. A lot of people have no idea of what Reiki is. I'm glad, because these people, at least they're hearing of it, because these same people that now say it's a massage, just like a massage, these people like maybe 5 years ago have never even heard of Reiki. So people who 5 years ago knew a little bit about Reiki now is people that is doing more stuff and like helping even in the science community to make Reiki a thing, to make it not something that is skeptical, like it's something that is true. It's something that happens. It's something that you can feel. Actually, doing Reiki, it's warm, so you can feel like some warmness coming out of your body, and some people even feel like twitching or other kind of sensations, even without touching the person, the patient in this case. And another interesting stuff here is in the US, I read some statistics. I don't know. I don't have new statistics, but in the US, I think it was 2008, so more than like 12 years ago, 50% of all the hospitals in the US included Reiki as an alternative method of like helping people go through even before surgery, during surgery, or after any other procedure. I'm sorry, I'm Mexican. Some words I just can't, but you get it. So yeah, even after having anything done on them, they will like receive Reiki. And many doctors, coming back, that 50%, 15%, it's like, I think 400 hospitals in the US. And yeah, so many doctors and nurses are even getting like being now trained on Reiki so they can help their own patients now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which really shows, I think, a whole lot of legitimacy, because we know that hospitals in a highly regulated market aren't going to spend money on something that doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
So that's really amazing.
And I think in another way, it's actually better. It's not even that it's that they're like investing, but I mean, yeah, in a way they are, but it's not only that it. Well, yeah, I mean, in the only way that it works, so they actually reduce cost, because it's less days for many people in the hospital, so it's less expense. It's less probably pain medicine or other kind. So yeah. It's very good.
Yeah, clearly the pharma companies aren't making these decisions, which is good. My next question to you is, how would you compare the practice of Reiki to meditation, which is something that I'm much more familiar with personally?
Well, I think both the patient and whoever is doing Reiki practice meditation. The person who is doing Reiki have to do some kind of meditation to get in that, like receiving this universal energy and putting it to the patient. And the patient has to relax and open up to the Reiki energy. So in that way, both are like, Reiki includes meditation. but also on like what Reiki does in compared to meditation. It makes you feel more like we were talking earlier about how you are more connected to nature or to yourself, or what we are all, the oneness. It definitely does connect you to that. I feel like it also makes you recognize how important it is to be balanced too. And I don't know, it's I think all the health benefit that both have, right? It's like how it's connected. I think I was also telling you, and as I was mentioned also earlier in this live, you can do Reiki touching the person, but you can also do Reiki not touching the person, right? I mean, you can do it by distance, but what I want to say is, as you can go through all the levels of the person, you can actually work in some areas that you might not even recognize that you have a pain or a sickness yet. So that's how Reiki comes like this solution for being well. You know, like I can just like use this technique that is called, I think, bioscanning. That it will be like going through you. I'm not doing Reiki right now, but
come on,
as I will say to a friend,
give me a free Reiki while we're on air.
I have to do
it. And by the way, for those of you watching at home, thank you so much for joining us in the live stream. You can actually chat with us live if you have any questions or you just want to say hello. So shoot us a chat. If you haven't liked this video yet, please do so, because that helps us in YouTube's algorithm. And I hope you're enjoying learning about Reiki so far. And Anna, thank you for joining us here too. Please continue.
Thanks. And I wanted to say now that I was like that, I was telling to a friend in my hometown last week that I was doing Reiki. So we were joking and I went like, who, you know? It was just so funny because we were like joking about how, you know, like these Dragon Balls or like characters will be like doing like the ball, you know. So I don't know. It's just fun with my friends. I think
we had an image like that actually as our thumbnail for this episode. So yeah, it's always like, you know, like Jedi power healing. And that's just the way I like it. I like to picture Reiki as something Jedis might practice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the time that I went, when I started doing it, I started basically, because I was like acknowledging that we all are energy. So I was like, okay, I want to be protective of my own energy. The anxiety on me was like, you need to take care of this. So I was like, okay, let's go and learn about energy. And I got to my first class and we started doing the meditation and everything. And then I started feeling the energy in my hands and I was so scared. Not scared, but I was shocked. And I didn't know you can actually feel a ball of energy in your hand. And yeah, I guess that's how you convert people to religions.
Yeah, it's definitely how the Jedi did it. I don't know if any of you out there watching this right now watch The Mandalorian, but I think we've seen all 8 episodes at least 5 times. How many times would you say?
Which episode?
All of them.
Well, all of them, but I feel, I don't know. Yeah, probably some like 7 times or more. But I don't get tired of it. Like anytime you put a new one, I'm like, okay, I wonder if we're gonna like just now start seeing them all like randomly, like, you know, not in the right order, or I don't know, what's the next challenge?
Like that's pretty much what's happening right now. For those of you at home who have been watching The Mandalorian and are learning how to kind of enhance your skills on how to watch it better, the first thing you want to do is not watch episode 4 or 5 ever again. Those weren't great episodes. You do want to watch episode 3, 7, and 8 multiple times, and we'll do a whole nother live episode about that, how to watch The Mandalorian properly, if you'd like. So let me know in the comments if you watch The Mandalorian or practice Reiki or meditate or anything like that. Let me know about you, what you're up to. So my next question, getting back to the topic at hand, didn't expect to go off on a Mandalorian tangent, but that's also not surprising.
You know, yeah, it's always gonna happen.
So my next question to you is, what is the actual feeling that happens when you're kind of giving Reiki to someone and then what's actually happening in their body at the time. So when you're in the process of I guess you've detected an area that needs healing, now you want to heal it. What kind of, I guess, energy is flowing through their body? What's happening?
Okay, this is good because this question is bringing us back to what I was explaining, and then I went through all the funny stuff. So I was explaining that, one of the techniques, and probably to me is one of the ones that I like most, the most, is bioscanning, which is like going through the patient's body with my hand slowly. And how it feels to me is basically it feels like a little bit of a tingling in my hand. And whenever I feel like a change of energy, it can be warmth, air, or it can be cold, or it can be just tingling harder, or any change. That's where I know that there's something wrong in this person's body. So it can be just stress or whatever. It doesn't necessarily like, oh, I feel like this if it's a cancer. I don't. That's why this is not like this is not substitute of medicine. This is just like an extra tool alternative. I hope one day it is, but no, it's not. So yeah, you will feel like some change in this energy. And I don't know what happened to this person's body, but I like to think, and how I feel it, that it's probably close to what it actually is. As I was saying, it's like this person, and it's also what is in the books of what I like study. It talks about this energy being like a node. So like something happened that it's a block. So you unblock this. So when I stay in that part that is like doing this change of energy, and I'm feeling weird and weird and weird, I stay there. I can even go lower or work in the aura level, because many stuff you will have in the aura level that is not like, oh, I have a stomach ache. No, maybe you don't feel anything. Maybe you feel fine. And just doing Reiki by the aura level can like prevent other sickness. As I was telling you, like, you're welcome for doing Reiki on you one time. No, we need to do more sessions on you. But yeah, you can like prevent many illness. The person, I feel like I've asked many of my patients, like, because I've stayed with some like, I will do the bioscanning, but with many I won't feel much in the bioscanning. But then there are some positions that are like not rules, but what's established for these Japanese people that started, because it's like after they did hundreds or thousands of patients, they learned and they were like, okay, these are like the basics steps you want to go through a person, so it's like covering the ears or covering the eyes, or like going to the chest like this, and how to put both hands. So I will do that on everyone just to check, like, just in case I miss something. And sometimes when I'm in the feet, with some people, I feel like crazy energy in the feet. The feet can mean a lot of stuff, right? So, and I will be like, did you feel that? And they will be like, no, so the patient, they mostly feel like they mostly feel only when my hands are like way too hot, because they get way too hot. Like, I cannot be wearing any jewelry because it can be like kind of painful. So, yeah. So you don't want to wear jewelry while doing this. I just keep my piercing and it's okay so far. But yeah, that's how it works. And I just want to say something else here. It is so proven, like so many people have worked so hard on Reiki that we already have a list of like what parts of the body to work with depending on how this person feels. So if the patient comes with a headache, I'm just making up because I need to see the list. But let's say it's a headache. You will say, oh yeah, go to the head. But no, maybe in this book you will read and maybe it's not the head. Maybe it's going to the feet because the feet will make the blood flow, and that's the circulation that you need. Or maybe it's the hands and then the chest, and that will cure your headache, So it's a magic world.
Yeah. And I think what a lot of this really comes down to is like, how can you be healthier? How can you take fewer pain medications? That's actually the big one that Joe Rogan has actually spoken a lot about in the kind of the past few years, is just the fact that people who take Advil every day develop stomach issues, and that's really a big problem. So, what I think is interesting here is you mentioned that you haven't gotten sick at all since you started practicing Reiki, and I've only gotten sick once. So, that is a bit anecdotal, but it's been our experience that it actually does work. And I think that's something that we wanted to mention to you today. I think we're getting near the end of this episode, but before we take off, what yeah, we'll have you
Now
back
I'm
on.
having
You're very
fun.
convenient to have on the show. But before we leave off, what is the last kind of piece of information that you'd like to share about Reiki?
Oh, you got me on that one. I don't know. Um, I would like, to be honest, I would like more people to be more open to it, because I also definitely feel like I love to share this information with a lot of our friends, with everyone. I don't care who, like I was getting my hair done the other day, and I was sharing with them, like, I do Reiki, I'm so excited because I can't believe how good is this. And most of the people is very receptive, but when they're not, I will either be drinking and they're like, okay, so do Reiki on me, and I'm like, dude, I'm having a drink. Like, that's another thing. Like, when you're about to do Reiki, like, the best thing to do is, because it's something so natural that you want to be like so aligned. So it's better if you don't have alcohol, if you didn't eat meat, like all this kind of stuff that will mess with your like natural, like the best of you, if that's how I can say it. But yeah, so I will say I like it when people is more receptive. If you're one of those that is like super against or like skeptical of this, don't. Well, they're probably not watching this to start with, but yeah, I will say, like, don't fight over people who believe in this, because you know what, these people, I feel like they see us as like religion seekers or followers, which is not. But I know it's hard to believe sometimes, but
The only religion is the Mandalorian religion.
it is, but but yeah, this is nothing religious, and this is all about actually Reiki is practiced by a lot of people from different religions, so this is not at all against any religion. This is just pure energy from everywhere, pure light. Yeah, it's important for people also to know that this is not like witchcraft or crazy bad dark stuff. This is only light. This is only love, and yeah, this is basically reconnecting with ourselves.
Yeah, and despite my terrible question at the end there, I think that was a great answer. So thank you for those who have been joining. I know you said they're probably not our haters, but maybe you are. If you're my hater, let me know in the comments. If you are one of my people who, like, maybe you're a friend of mine. I'm trying to think of the opposite of hater. We'll call you a friend. Yeah. Let me know in the comments. Tell me what's up. And thank you so much for joining the live stream. If you're catching this after the live stream in the replay, I am live streaming Monday through Thursdays. And I'm talking about all sorts of topics. This one is more on kind of like the meditation end and consciousness. But we also talk a lot about entrepreneurship and how to create a business and stuff like that. Really, really, this show is about what I'm interested in. And hopefully some of the things I've learned along the way can help you too. So thank you so much for joining. Yesterday, on a related note, we actually talked about an article that a major venture capitalist put out talking about his top predictions for the 2020s, this new decade we're in. So make sure you go check that out too. One of the things he talks about, if you're interested in like starting a green company or going into space, he actually talks about those things. And we talked about that on yesterday's program. Go check that out. thank you so much for joining. And until tomorrow, well, you know what? Tomorrow's Friday, but I'm probably going to live stream anyway. So until tomorrow, stay visionary.